People don't like Globochem and its 2023 different products.
The perception is that this company is a monster.
A beast.
A cold, heartless, smelly behemoth.
Run by a greedy,
fat-headed fatty pants.
A fatso. Who do you think you are? This company cares. We were in the people business when you were in short pants. My great-great-great-grandfather started this company with one single rickety, leaky, handcrafted slave ship and a simple motto: people selling people to people. So don't tell me that I'm fat!
We're going to start our volleys. We hope you like the show. Everything is ready. We're raring to go. We'll give you all the latest songs and then it's full of them. We're gonna start with Hacha. Just watch this chorus step.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fantastic Comics Presents number 82, LCS Pet Peeves. I'll tell you all about that in just a moment. How y'all doing? So let's see. For those of you that don't know, my name is Yule. Hi, I'm Yule, and I own Fantastic Comics, which is a comic book store in Berkeley, California. And I come on the air every Tuesday at 8 for customers and people that are willing to listen to someone yap about comics. Sometimes I even have a guest. Sometimes I don't. And tonight is I don't. I am the guest. And you know what? If you have anything you want to ask me, I'm going to be reading the chat via my phone. So if you want something to, to stand out, go at Fantastic Comics and then write it, and I should see it highlighted, hopefully. Let me I know there's only a few of us in here, and I know there's nothing you want to say to me for real. That you aren't going to say anyway. We will get to the chat in just a moment. I am one of the many, this is one of the many comic book podcasts, YouTube shows that live streams, and sometimes I have things that are not live streamed on the channel, usually a review of a book or some sort of thought about a book. I'm going to take the Eric Breen from last week when we're talking about Iron Man. It's clipped and it's going to have some video that works. So if you didn't watch the show last week and don't want to go through the whole thing, that will be made available. I want to do that with the Kari Andrews interview and some other things. But I do have some guests lined up for the future. So that should be some fun stuff. You could come to Berkeley and get this all the time. I'm sitting at the store just waiting for you to come in, talk about comic books. Like we're going to talk about comic books tonight. I'm also going to tell you what it's like to own a store because why don't I put that scroll go right in here? That's what tonight's show is going to be about. It's going to be NCBD disappointments. Week after week after week after week of disappointments. So hard to be a business in this climate with so many things that are causing so many upheavals within it, to make a living when it was so hard to do it anyway. And then you don't get your books. For those of you that are DC fans and are playing along at home, it's the other week, so we do have DC comic books on time. If it's that week, it's usually the other stuff comes on time. So we're on the DC week. So there is a lot of fun stuff. And we'll be looking at some of the books that I was supposed to have out tomorrow. And books that I had out today. And like I said, some store news also. Woo! There's a big full show we're going to have. But first, let's see if I can do this.
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
Hello.
What's up?
Was remember when that was cool? Was it's not really cool when you do that. Fantinium was here a little early. LK, hey man, how's it going? And I just say man and guys, and I'm just very that way. I think y'all know that. Joey Pill's in the other room saying hello, and 18 was here on time. That's awesome. Fantinium already has an LCS pet peeve. When a homeless bum comes in and starts wreaking havoc in the store and Berkeley PD is useless in the matter. Yes, that is definitely a reason to give a star less on Yelp if you're in that comic store. Because the area that you're in, oh my God. All right, so why did I call this episode what I called it, LCS Pet Peeves? There is a very prominent YouTuber that has near 150,000 subscribers, if you can believe it. Talking about comic books. I mean, that's just ridiculous. And recently this week, he's been putting out LCS, like, oh, my favorite things about LCSs. And today it was like pet peeves of LCSs. And I understand you're trying to fill like, 10 or 15 minutes. So you have to have something to say, which is like kind of how he addressed, well, we'll get into it, but it's kind of how he addresses the subjects that he brings up. I understand this is what you have to do, but there is nothing. I know you can use but in a sentence and it still, has something important to say. But in this situation, no, it's not even the stuff before. It's all the stuff after I don't care to hear. The fact that you acknowledge the fact that there is something that has to be done is the reason why it's being done, and there's nothing to bitch about. But we'll get into that in a little bit. Although I was like, oh man, maybe I could get some like real heat on this, and I don't mean heat like a bunch of his persons coming over here or anything like that. Just like have like an episode where I could be a little bit more like myself when I'm like myself when you don't see me, and you when I yule out, that's what it is. And I thought, all right, I can do it. And as it's getting closer and closer to time, I just knew there was no way. But I mean, these few things that I picked out of the video that I'm going to show you is at least something I want to have a conversation about. And I think Fantinuum totally says it right in that comment. Everybody has their own thing that's like crazy, and unless you see like all the stuff that leads up to it. Thank you very much, ATN. I love you too. Joe, yo, how's it going? Storyboards by Stuff Pop. These distributors failing me. The thing is that you don't know if it's the distributor or the shipping company or one. They're all in cahoots. You just know they're timing their answers. It's 1 week it's the distributors fuck up, and whoops, that was before 15 minutes. Is the distributor screwing up, and the next week it's FedEx, and since I don't use FedEx all the time, it could be UPS or maybe actually the postal service is the best. Oh my goodness gracious, let me tell you, you murdered that guy. I appreciate you feeling sorry for me. But really, you should have felt sorry for me before I started owning a comic store. I knew what I was getting into. At least there's no debtor's prison, I think. Exactly. Story time with me. Exactly. If something sparks your interest, we can talk about it. Also, there was a comment about what I thought about webcomics and that type of stuff. And I think I'll probably have time to get into that also. Oh, and here's Jaffro. This is my brother. So here we go. Here's one of the story. Here's a story about owning a comic book store. Kids, I hope you have your cocoa, your marshmallows, a nice warm fire. Sit around the speaker. We are now ordering Marvel comics from Penguin Random House. And, we have to make sure we have the proper account. And we're going to take all the information from the people that work on the point of sale system that we have. And, getting the codes right so that it jives with Penguin Random House when it was always having to work with Diamond normally and all this other stuff. And, Jaffra could be on here and show you a chart and bore the hell out of you. But so he's doing the very first order that's due in a couple of days, and we're doing it right now. So I'm not at the store. This is what the store is. Here, this is what I look like right now. Whoops. Silly me. That's what I look like right now. Babyface Yule right there. Let's see. I think we need to say home free now. So it's the home free bum. What did I say? I can't remember now. Come on, out him. Let's see here. Oh, excellent. You guys are talking. All right, good. All right. Another story about terms with death. 14-page black and white story. That's owning a comic store, all right. Let's see here. This is what Jeffrey's saying. It separates the order into 4 carts, one for each FOC. So you have a month of comic books that you're ordering, and it's going to separate them into different final order cutoffs. So just to let you guys know, your comic store, when they decide to send it out, it's usually the last minute, which is a Sunday, they have an FOC a month before the comic books are coming out. Now, of course, the Bleeding Cool article that's going to let you know X character is gay, or X person's writing this book, or X person did something horrible, so you ordered a bunch of books before you knew that. All the stuff that could happen that would be horrible for ordering. But you can like change the numbers a month beforehand. And I order at my store, let me tell you. I'm really getting sick of excess stuff, and I really want to start figuring out what we can move that probably isn't mainstream monthly comics. Like I have a few people that, like I have a person that comes in and buys everything superhero from Valiant. If Oni had a superhero comic that was worth it, this person would buy it. Buys all the Marvel comics pretty much, not the kiddie ones. So I think he puts Runaways back, but even then but Champions, yeah, sure, so there's those type of people, but I feel like I want to cater to what everybody wants. Well, not what everybody wants. Really what I want to do is put stuff in the store that I want to have in the store more. And if it can sit up longer and not get drowned by all that other stuff, I think that will be better for it. When I used to work, and I know I'm in a different place than I was before. And before where Comic Relief was I judge everything, by what I know from that store that I worked and, the different time periods of our store. So, selling certain things is, it's harder than it was then. And I am finding myself selling a lot more across the board superhero stuff. But I'm not selling every single one of them, and I don't like seeing them anymore. So, to my customers out there, and I think for a lot of people that are out there, running stores, I see this is the way it's going. You got to get that order in, because it doesn't matter if Joe Blow's coming up off the street. What they want more often than not is just that number one issue. So I could for all the 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, all the way to 17 issues that I accumulate over the course of time, like that. I'd rather just have all of those comics as a number one issue. If someone comes off the street and wants to buy something, they want to buy the beginning of it anyway. And having a first issue is probably better in the long run anyway. I can just give those away for free comic book day and just look at it as a one-time loss. Other than that person that buys all the superhero comics, down the line. You can always have a little bit left over, and there's some books that I like more than other books, so I'm willing to sit on them longer. But having so much of that junk is just in such a small store. We knew we were going to get to this situation, but it's going to have to be that even more. Even as I see newer customers coming into the store, it's like, oh my God, what do you do? And as comics, every week is something new, even if it's something that's just like a regurgitated thing from before. At least it's a different illustrator on it, maybe a different writer. Most people don't know the whole point of an LCS is camaraderie. It's right. And that's what I'm trying to, when I was doing my shows with ATN earlier in this channel's history, it was a nice little presentation. We tried not to clip it too much, but try to get a really good take also. And ATN would post. Gizmo's barking. Here, so you don't have to hear it for real. Let's do it. Let's do it for fakes. That's Gizmo. Let's see here. It also isn't doing variants correctly. Oh. It's not recognizing the combination of A and B cover for the 1 in 25. So what he's saying is, what normally happens is they'll say to qualify to buy this variant in a 1 in 25 situation, so you have to buy 25 of the regular cover. But sometimes what they'll have is like you can get the A, B, C, and Scotty Young cover, and those will all go towards that. But now it's having a problem with that. Well, what if it was just the A cover and you screw the B cover? Why, hello, Casey. How's it going? Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I got a picture from a customer from a wrestling show I was at. Is anybody interested? I'll put it up in a second. Oh, do they have the fans on? Yeah, they do. Boom. Mute that mic. I couldn't hear it. Camaraderie is an awesome word. I totally agree. Totally agree. That is a response. I also can tease them with food. And you switched to mail order. All right, excellent. We got through it all. Switching to mail order is totally a thing. For new comic books, so if you do it from the publisher, you get it way late. And if you get it you still get it a little bit late, I think, from other places. And I'm not so sure about, shipping and stuff like that, but it just depends if you can trust who it is. God, shipping is such a pain in the butt, though, expense-wise, especially to other countries. Yeah. Oh, shoot. Which show? What are we talking about? He's not barking at the Dodgers hat. Although I do think he's I think he's like an A's dog, probably from the beginning, but I'm not quite so sure. All right, let's turn this mic off because nobody needs to see this anymore. Also, nobody needs to see this anymore. Excellent. All right. So there was a video from a dude on YouTube. His name is, well, I don't know what his name is. I can't remember. Gem Mint Collectibles. This dude has a ton of followers. So if you enjoy omnibuses or omnibuy, I don't know, sideshow collectible toys, that type of stuff. He has giveaways. So which show? That's what I'm talking about. What in my picture? Oh yeah, here, I'll show it to you. My customer sent a picture of me behind Brian Cage. My goodness, look at him. He was so young. Wait, let me ask. So since I'm shaved, all right, there I have some facial hair. And I know it's a blurry picture. Here, I'll do it like this. Younger? That's younger me. Do I look that much older now? All right, yeah. So that was a PWG show. Damn, I can't remember. I was trying to. I'm assuming it's Dio, but Jeff is behind me. Not my brother Jeff. Co-host Jeff. And the only time I think I went with Jeff to a PWG show was 7, but Jill was there. But I don't see Jill. But maybe she's just kind of hid, or maybe she dared try to go to the bathroom. But so it's sometime around 7. That was when Brian Danielson, got fired from the WWE, and it's the first CM Punk moment. Take that. And he got fired because he used a and this was on Justin Roberts also, Justin Roberts. So it was like a ring announcer. He took the microphone and he choked him with it. And there's kind of been a decree that you don't choke people, especially when it looks so much like Chris Benoit after the stuff that Chris Benoit did. So he got fired because the toy company got upset. I forget, maybe it was like Jack's Pacific or whoever the hell it was, maybe Mattel. And so he got fired, and everybody was really pissed because Raw really sucked. I mean, it was the only thing that mattered, like for 15 minutes of the entire 3-hour show. So Raw does 3-hour shows all the time, but at that time they hadn't done it all the time. And a 3-hour show was still pretty onerous to have to watch. And especially since they didn't have the formula down like they do now. Like they really know how to put me to sleep. But yeah, it was like the only angle that was good on the whole show, or even somewhat interesting. And then they fired the only person I liked within that group. And I was like, oh man, one of many times I said, oh, I'm done with this product. I can't stand them. But I was down in Southern California watching PWG shows every once in a while back when I was unemployed. It's kind of like working for a comic store or owning a comic store and being unemployed. Except I don't get to go anywhere. Yeah, so that's the show I was at. All right, let's see. Let's see. I look the same as I did in the 90s. Yeah, I should do that chin hair though. It's much better. Let's see here. No, he's totally likable. Like I said, he's making a show where he's talking about pet peeves, but I thought some of them were there's nothing you can do about it, you know. Oh, shipping's only 8. Excellent. His garage. I don't know. I don't see her face there. No ways. No, not Jill. Not Jill. I don't see her anyway. Anyhow, wrestling is my favorite comic book. I agree. I'm going to stop talking about that now. Though I have thought about God, see, the thing is, I hate wrestling so much right now. It doesn't interest me at all. But having I have an idea for a show that I think would be pretty funny. So I think I'm going to do one and see if it works. And if it does, then we'll go from there. All right, let me get this picture of old me off the screen. There you go. That's slight, or I guess younger me. There's a slightly younger than me now. Me. That's about it. Thanks for coming, everybody. Let me flash the address of the store. You can let's talk about the store for just a second, everybody. Today was the last day I'm going to be open on Tuesday. And I wanted to open the store on Sunday and see if I could get a little bit more traffic. So I announced today only on Instagram, and I know only a few people saw it or even mattered. And it was a pretty oh my gosh, it was a pretty good day today. So I don't know if I was being rash. It's something I've been thinking about a lot. And then I started thinking about some of the other reasons why I was open on Tuesdays. It's just, you got to be open business days. But I don't want to be at the store, 6 or 7. I mean, the minute I say, oh, well, I got to work 6 days, I might as well just come in the 7th day also. And we're not making hand over fist cash right now. So hiring another person's kind of yet, owners, you don't have to pay ourselves. That's the way it goes. But we're going to be opening on Sundays. I think a lot of the people that come in, I was talking to them, most of them had no problem with it. And just the fact that they were coming in on Tuesday was just because they were coming in on Tuesday. But Sunday's just as good for most people. And I want to open up for, possibly a more family, it can't be a family experience, not like the old store. But definitely something where, a family can come in and actually, shop for a few minutes without having to like worry about Wednesday traffic or brand new comic book day traffic. So I don't know. I already feel like I want to go back on what I said, but I think I'm going to go forward nonetheless. I know I have had a few customers that say they'd be better off with it being on a Sunday. So going to work on the Lord's Day. All right, excellent. Let's see. Plus, if it's slow, I can play Magic with whoever comes by, and I definitely sell Magic cards. So, my idea at the old store was that I would have like a big old barrel in this big old space that we had, and we'd have like a checkerboard on it. But even better would be like, room for placemats so you can play Magic. A near family experience. That's exactly. And why? Yeah, I'm not getting into that. All right, very good. Let's go on to the subject of the show, which is about Gem Mint collectibles. He had some things to say about comic book stores, local comic book stores, and things that irk him. A lot of the times he would say things like, I know that comic stores have to do this because most stores aren't making a ton of money on new issues, and they have to sell something else in order to be able to make some money. And I mean at the bigger store that I was at, that's totally true, because for the amount of space that we had to rent it at, you had to like sell something more than just floppy comic books. So we were already like a big graphic novel store. And, then you factor in toys or T-shirts or buttons and all the other knickknack type stuff that you might have in a store. And, it add-on sales. But overall, the thing is it's comic books, and you want to like sell the main merchandise. Although, there were times when there was a yoga studio across the street from us. I had thought, God, it would be really awesome if there were like Spider-Man yoga mats, and stuff like that. Excellent. You should get your ass kicked in. Oh, not by me. Please. That's like preying on a child. You have no concept of what's going on yet. This is just to introduce you to the mechanics of the game. So this guy is talking about, things that he doesn't like about LCSs. And there were 3 points of his 9 that I wanted to talk about. And I'm going to share them with you right now. Here's one of them.
But it's parking. If you have terrible parking, I will probably never go to your shop again. I'm looking at you, All-Star Comics here in El Paso. But even worse is A&M in Miami. So here in El Paso, the street is not that busy of a street. There's about, 2, maybe 3 parking spots right on the road. So to turn in or to get out even is hard, and you got to look for cars. But A&M is in Miami. Bro, you almost kill yourself every time you try to get out of that parking lot. I understand, especially A&M has been there for decades. I think All-Star's been there for a long time as well. And maybe, that wasn't a thought when you bought into the shop. But if you're going to be opening up a new shop, let's think about location. Let's think about parking. Do people got to make U-turns to get in? Are you one parking lot right on the street where it's suicide to try to exit? That's something to think about, that parking.
Yeah, that parking. I mean, you want to be in a city where there's like, 1 million people, and you got to make sure there's going to be somewhere to park, I'm sure, parking in like New York is probably pretty easy. I mean, there haven't been entire episodes of Seinfeld based around stuff like that. Berkeley, everybody knows it's crap down here. And the thing is that when I moved in, the construction began, and I'm locked into a 5-year deal right off the bat. There's always extenuating circumstances. Obviously, location. But you murder that guy is perfectly happy with ordering his stuff, via the mail. Everything's becoming more and more mail based. I mean, geez, I was almost hoping that like Amazon would have done the distribution for the comic book scene. Like they could possibly get prices lower, and they definitely would have like, the returnability part down. They would know what how to do that and force, these companies if you wanted to. It was just pie in the sky dreams. Cars are almost illegal. What's illegal in Berkeley is gas appliances, gas houses. If you're making a new house now, everything has to be electric. Here we go. LCS owners who have he's not an owner. He's an owner of a comic book channel, not unlike this one. And I'm not really like, slamming him or anything. I'm just saying that like there is always a reason why. I mean, if you want to be in a city, a real city where there's going to be like, people will travel to you, but you just it's tough. In Berkeley, I can't imagine where I would have opened up a location where people would go to that would allow parking. Oh, I know, right here. Check out Fantastic Comics in Berkeley. There's parking now. But there's a whole lot less people that walk by because there's not a BART station right there. It's like it's 10 minutes farther than I used to be, which was like 10 seconds away from the station. So any distance that you put between you and people, hey, there's parking, everybody. You can get 2 hours before you get a ticket. That's way better than anywhere else in Berkeley. Just make sure you're not on the wrong side on street sweeping days, the second Tuesday and Wednesday of the month. That type of thing. It's awesome. But there's a big difference when it comes to expecting people to be. What if I was in a mall and it was Christmas time and people went to malls anymore? Parking would be tough then too. All right, so that's one. Not really bad. Here's another one of his.
This is definitely not cool. Again, I understand why shops do the things that they do. They're seeing their customers making money off of them by flipping books or buying that hot book or buying every issue on the rack. I'm actually cool with the one per customer on hot issues. That's fair. That gives everybody a chance. But the whole, oh, we're sold out of that book, or oh, we were shorted that book, but somehow they have it for sale on eBay. Not cool. I just feel like, again, is it worth your reputation? You're going to lose customers for life to make a couple of extra bucks this month. I don't think it's worth it. I think you're buying the books at a discount, you're selling them for a profit, and I know a lot of times certain books don't sell and you're making up differences, but again, the reputation is everything. You're here to be a retailer, not a flipper. Let us come in there and flip when we get a chance. It keeps people in the hobby. No disrespect to anyone who does it, but it's just like, dude, the reputation is more important than the short-term cash flow, in my opinion.
All right, there are a couple things there. I totally agree. I've been on shows that were talking about the whole pricing comics at the cash register. I was just in that situation the other day. But, the thing is they tell you the price and you just say, never mind. And you can, not go. Or you could tell them, I don't dig that, and then don't buy it, and then go. There's a whole bunch of things you can do, about that. But it is upsetting. But I am so happy that I can limit sales to people. Like I could say, I need one for everybody. The thing about opening a comic store is that there's a certain amount of sharing comics with the consumer. I I could just be selling pants somewhere. I don't give a shit about pants, or I mean, this underwear, this Ballance underwear that Hanes puts out. Well, that's pretty exciting, I got to admit. But I mean, I don't know how long I could like really push underwear, But comics, books, stories, the worst thing that happened when I worked at Borders was that I got put in the computer section. That was number 2 part. The first part is I was in the business section, and I'm a little bit more English, maybe literature, or at least sci-fi fantasy based, comic book based, something that's pretty the antithesis of that other stuff. And that's horrible. And doing something like selling shoes, working in an office, something with walls that you can't put pictures up on, totally having to behave yourself in every way the entirety of the day, wearing a monkey suit. I appreciate the people that do. I go to the bank, but nobody wants to see me like that. I don't want to see me like that. And I don't think society can handle me being that way. So comic books is something that I like. It's something I want to share with people. There's a lot of different stories that are out there. They make it really hard these days to want to like push comic books to people, but there's always these little diamonds that are out there that you find out about. Like this year, Stray Bullets came out. For me personally, that was a really great one. Red Room by Piscor came out. Beta Ray Bill just finished up, and we've got Amazing Fantasy, which is going to be coming out when we get comics from Diamond, hopefully on Wednesday evening, Thursday morning, afternoon. So there are comics from mainstream companies. Geiger's coming out through Image. James Tynan's got his stuff that he's doing, like for Boom. And there's all sorts of really good comic books that are out there. And there's like, everybody knows I push Copra, Michel Fiffe. His stuff is really wonderful. And there's even good DC comic books, if you can believe that. But there's so many of them, and they persist so incessantly. It's hard to, especially when you're wading through and I know I bitch about it all the time, all the Batman. I can't stress to you when I'm trying to find a home for these, when they can't be on the top shelf of the new shelf, where everybody looks for comic books, and then down below in the filed area where maybe somebody will go through them, a couple times that week, and then a little less the next week, and so on. That's where all the extras go, and it's so hard to come to grips with those things that are never going to move. And I thought I had the audience that cared about this. Did I read them wrong? Do they care about anything? Well, just fuck it then. Another one of the things the guy Gem Mint Collectible said was like having a grid selection. I'm like, oh my god, this guy wants everything. But this is the part that got me the most.
For me, it's the shop hours. Man, opening too late, closing too early, being closed on certain days like Sundays or Tuesdays or things of that nature. And again, it's one of those things where I get it. You might be a smaller shop. You don't have the money to pay employees. You don't want to work 7 days a week. But man, like we went to California recently and we're chilling. We're in the city and we walk by the comic shop. We try to go in. Bam, it's like 11 o'clock. They're still not open. I think they opened at noon. Like, dude, like, can we come in here and get some comics? Now, I guess, after years of being open, maybe they realize they only get 1 or 2 people between the hours of, 8 a.m. and 12 noon, so it makes sense to open later. But that's a pet peeve of mine. The days clothes thing, like there's times where I just want to hit the shop to look around and not for anything specific, and boom, we're closed on Tuesdays. We stock all the books or whatever.
Yeah, we stock all the books. Oh my god. I can't have a day off. Everything I said in the beginning. What if I put up a sign saying I'm walking the dog? Let's see here. Okay, you guys in Berkeley. Excellent. Well, the thing is, I love Berkeley. I mean, Berkeley's like the kind of city you expect to see a comic book store. I remember when I lived in, and the guy, he's always in California and I was in the city. I'm like, what? There's a lot of cities. Let's see here. I timed it the day before he moved. It was about a 15. Fantinuum's in very good shape, everybody. He is not your typical comic book fan. He's fit as a fiddle, I hear. Let's see here. I am a capitalist stooge. All right, LCS uncleanliness. Please tidy up all the boxes so I can. Yeah, I totally agree. I personally don't put comic books out unless they're priced, or at the very least, if they're priced in the system. If it has a barcode and it's out on the ground, then there's something that at least tracks. I don't want to put a sticker on a comic book if I can help it. No, just talking about it. There's a couple things that pertain to LCSs, and I thought I'd talk about that. When they're out of bags and boards, yeah, that's if you remember when I first started this pre-pandemic, one of the first things I said was stock up on your bags and boards. We are doing our best to figure out what we can do, because unless you can wait months and order a pallet and house a pallet, I think it's going to be very difficult to get good bags and boards. So case in point, and God, this is like the most boring episode talking about bags and boards. My brother went down to Southern California so that he could hit the Frankensons show. And we'll talk about Frankensons from the 90s later on someday. But he went down there and he bought bags and boards from this guy that gets the boards cut. And we're like, awesome. We'll take 1,000 bags and boards. And Jeff brought them back up. They only fit the bags that he has. So any bags that I have elsewhere don't work with them. So that's the thing. And if I go to BCW and they actually have some boards that we can buy, it's always loosies, which means there's going to be a bunch that are damaged, if not all of them, a little bit. They'll always be like a little dirty also. And, sometimes they don't fit the bags also. And it's just been a really, I knew it was going to happen this way. I had the feeling, everything's China when it comes to comic book supplies for the most part. And I think maybe there's money in being a West Coast distributor for bags and boards, but I can't imagine how it is because it's so expensive to ship that stuff. And, it sells. It's the best thing I sell in the comic book store. Bags and boards, everybody. Oh, why did I need those Walking Deads in the beginning? I just needed bags and boards. So again, I did not have Gem Mint on the show. I have not been able to score that kind of a guess. And I haven't actually even tried, but he seems like a pretty cool dude. I'm not as into the Omnibuy lifestyle and the toy lifestyle as he is. So I've seen some of his shows, but I definitely say check his channel out. Yeah. I'm not really anti anything he said. He had this thing about talking about gaming in a store. And if you have to pass through the gaming to go to the comic books, it's less likely that a person's going to go. And I totally agree. Getting a person in a comic store in the first place is, sometimes hard. And, you want to make it warm and inviting at least a little bit. and a bunch of dudes with their ass cracks hanging out at the game table. Probably ain't gonna do it. Yeah, I just need to have exactly. I need to rent one of the rooms in the back, and you know, I don't know what Berkeley's. God, I'd hate to move from where I am though, just to work. But if I could have like a Fonzie kind of situation, that would be pretty good. You get them. That's good. What company are you getting them from? Because like BCW sucks and it's so expensive. Oh, Bags Unlimited. I guess I know you say that, but I'm kind of particular, and I like when things can like work with other, when you can work bags and boards with each other. Not only that, I'm not always into, like personally, I'm not as into bags from other companies. So it takes some getting used to, and also, I don't know. It depends on like some people don't care what they have, and I understand that. It just if I have to go like to different places to get this stuff, I want it to at least be able to like work with each other. That's what it ultimately comes down to. And I'm not very pleased with any of the stuff that I've been getting, but we did recently have current bags and boards, just not silver, Craig. I don't know what to do about it. I'll look at BCW tomorrow, though, since I'll have time, because I won't have comic books tomorrow for Marvel, Oni, Image. They'll be in on Thursday. All right, so why don't we take a look at some of the comic books that are coming out tomorrow? This NCBD. Let me just bring this up. Got it. Oh man, I'm really looking forward to this too. Oh wow. An extra day. Can wait. You guys can wait, right? An extra day. All right, Amazing Fantasy #2 comes out. This is a 5-issue miniseries. This is written and drawn by Kari Andrews. He was on the show. I think it was the 79th episode. You should go back and look at it. I'm going to try and clip that episode, but I've got so much to do. Anyway, this is a different timeline. Spider-Man, Black Widow, and Captain America in this fantasy setting that we found out at the end of the first issue is like I don't know, heaven. They're dead though. They're dead in this fantasy world. So very interesting. And beautiful stuff. And he does these different styles, and I can't wait till they all come together. Another fantasy book, this time from Vault, one of the only Vault books I have enjoyed. This is by Michael Morecci, and I think Drew Gooden is the artist, and do we really care who the letterer is? Anyhow, Barbaric is about this dude who has this axe, and the axe talks to him and really helps him rip shit up, but only if the killing is just. So even though this barbarian would love to go and just like cut the head off of everybody along the way, he can't. But he gets to kill a lot anyway. So it's fun. It's been pretty funny. I'm digging it. I think there's only one more issue for this season, and I'm sure there's going to be more. It's been pretty good, and I think a lot of people have enjoyed it, and it's gotten pretty good sales, probably for Vault, Wait, this is coming out tomorrow? No, this is not coming out tomorrow. Backstar is going to be coming out this week. This is issue #4 by friend of the show, Joe Carallo. And this is a 5-issue miniseries by Mad Cave, and keep your fingers crossed that we can get a second season, or maybe just continue the numbering after 5, a 6th issue. I always liked it when that would happen, but if you got to start over with a new #1, Colin Jelly, I can't remember who the first name is, but the art is pretty darn good also. It's kind of God, I I say it's like kind of reminiscent of like an Adult Swim cartoon, but I dig it. And the story is all sci-fi and all about chasing after these magical artifacts. And we're going to have Joe on in between the 4th and 5th issues. So we'll talk to him about the series and how it's going. That's not. That is. Oh, man, I don't know what happened there. Batman came out today. This is the last day we're going to have Batman come out on a Tuesday, at least for the time being. Mariko Tamaki is writing this, and John Bogdanovich, after a very short run over at Marvel, is back in the fold at DC. See, not everybody runs the Substack. Some people just want to go home. And when Dan Moore is on the book, I think Bogdanovich is definitely a suitable replacement. Echo Lands. Oh, maybe it should be more like Echo Lands. No, whatever. J.H. Williams with his buddy W. Hayden Blackman. They've worked on Batwoman together, and I think some other things. Dave Stewart on coloring when he isn't busy hanging out with Annie Lennox. And Todd Klein on letters. Oh my gosh, finally a letterer that deserves being on the cover. I'm so happy. Anyway, at the store, we call J.H. Williams just the third because, you know, the fourth was James Tynion. And maybe they're brothers. We don't really know. Anyway, do you really care? The third is going to be doing artwork in a comic book again. And it's featuring a woman in red. Huh. Never seen that before. That's cool. I'm sure that will sell pretty well. I ordered heavily on it. So make sure you pick it up when it comes out and let me know you want the second issue because you heard my spiel about first issues earlier. Nonstop Spider-Man's finally coming out. See, if it's not on hiatus, it's not stopped. It's just maybe delayed or maybe just paused, but it's not stopped. So Nonstop Spider-Man number 4 is finally coming out. I love Joe Kelly and Chris Bachalo. Damn, I probably blew that. Tim Townsend, that's an inker that deserves being on a cover. That's probably the colorist, but again, who cares? Amazing Spider-Man 72. 2 more issues to go after this. And Nick Spencer's gone to Substack with all his friends. And now I'm going to be stuck with a bunch of writers I don't really particularly care for and an artist that's going to start writing. So Spider-Man's looking pretty sharp going forward. But this has been pretty good. All right. Superman, Son of Kal-El, number 2. I just got done reading the first issue, and I really enjoyed it. I was on Critical Thinking, or Thinking Critical. I was on Thinking Critical, and we were talking about the rumor that Superman, Son of Kal-El is gay. That was a pretty fun conversation. I didn't go too crazy on that one. There's no reason to yell out about that. But I think ultimately everybody's still just very pissed off about John being advanced in age rather than going through his childhood. Maybe then we could understand why he got to this point in his life. So that's really, I think, a fair critique of the character. And most people don't really give two about him and his his preferred sexuality. Thor, I guess it wouldn't be preferred, right? Thor, this is supposed to be a big deal. Cates is doing a darn good job on it. He's going to go to Thor's going to the bar to punch out Odin, I guess. I don't know what's going on here, but I'm down drinking. Oh, there's Loki in the background. Yeah, this should be really fun. This is a blow-off issue from the last storyline. God, it seems like it's been a while since this came out. Where Donald Blake, you found out that every time he tapped on that cane and Thor stood in his place, that Donald Blake was being like shunted off to this universe where like basically nobody lived except him. And he went crazy because after a while, you know, there was no cane tapping anymore, and there was no Donald Blake because Thor's just been hanging around. And he came and he attacked and he did all sorts of damage. And this is going to be like one of those, you know, you really screwed up, Dad, when you blah, 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 and you never told me blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah, well, you know, you don't know the kinds of things I have to do, Gem Mint Collectible, to make this being Odin last, you know? So put up your dukes. Be a man. Let's see if you're really, oh God, what is he called? If you're really worthy of being in my position. How's that? All right, this comic book, excuse me. This comic book is the comic book that makes you question whether or not you can afford a $5 book twice. On covers alone. This is Middleton. Love his work. It's just awesome. And that's Jay Lee. Everybody knows Jay Lee. Oh, speaking of Jay Lee, we'll get into that some other time. Yeah, just fantastic covers. I don't know which ones would you guys choose, Lee or Middleton, but come on in and pick them up. I know Fantinium has them set aside already. All right. Thank you very much for joining us, everybody. Let's take a look at some of the comments. Let's see. You guys and your boards, man. This is lettering used to be done by hand. I'm sure it still is somewhat, you know, it's just when there's only one person. All right, excellent. I love this board talk. It's very, very exciting. Did I say Yule out? No, how's my team doing? I'm not looking. That is an awesome Jay Lee cover. I agree. He's such a fantastic illustrator. I can't believe that Tom King would attack him the way he did all that time ago. It's just a shame. Did you hear that Tom King got upset with a fan at a convention? He tweeted about it and then said, like, well, I really had to kick him out because he took his mask off. And then, like, later on, there was, like, different reports about what happened. And then Tom King came out and told the story the same but different. Excellent. Thank you. Only one big hit. God damn. I wish they could just, you know, score some runs. You know, they got all that talent. Yeah, so there you go. On Thinking Critical this week, someone asked if we had read Ally, which was a Superman comic book. Are you kidding me? Oh my, I'm so sorry. Well, you're gonna root blue right now. Someone asked if I had read Ally, and that's in the Superman Red and Blue anthology that's been coming out. And I said, no, I hadn't, but I would, and I would review it on the show. And so if anybody's over here from that, that's what this is. Also, just to let you know, if you are interested, you can follow me at these places right here. This is me, Yule. Let me just pick up that review page. Let's do this. So the first thing I'm going to review is Superman 89. I'm going to share pictures of it and just give you my impressions because I don't want to blow anything for you. All right, that's not working. Oh no, that's not working. Okay, good. Well, we'll wait a second and see if my computer doesn't stall on me or something. Holy cow. Damn. That's what happens, you know. This is the way it goes. I don't have any control over my computer at this moment. Let's see if I can do this. Oh, see, that's even worse. All right. Well, I can't share, and so I can only talk to you if you have something to say. Say something. I've never heard comic book fans talk about Spider-Man comic strip by Stan Lee. Have you ever read that? Yeah, I've read that. I mean, Stan Lee is not a wonderful writer, and a comic strip is just a comic strip. So what are you going to do? Damn, my stuff is not working. StreamYard went on me. So I might have to just keep talking for like hours on end. I don't know what I'm going to have to be able to do. Maybe we'll just have like a blank screen. I'll have to like restart my computer, come on, see what happens. This is the first time this has ever happened to me. Let's see here. Yes, enjoyed it, and yeah, excellent. All right, great. Oh, I don't know what to do. So let's just talk about Superman 89 without pictures. How's that? Superman 89 was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. Robert Venditti is doing the artwork or the writing. Wilfredo Torres is doing the art. He has a style that he doesn't overly render anything. And so his loose interpretation of the characters are reminiscent of the people on the screen. Maybe his Superman, not as much Christopher Reeves, but I totally saw Margot Kidder in the Lois Lane and dudes who play Perry White and Jimmy Olsen. There's no Lex Luthor, so no Gene Hackman yet. But this whole story starts off with a few pages of us watching Krypton go kapoots. And then we see Brainiac observing it. And this is a story where Brainiac's going to come to Earth and cause all sorts of problems. There was one moment where Clark Kent is changing into the Superman costume, and that was pretty sweet. That was very reminiscent of the movie, and definitely a shift in flight pattern was very much like that. And I really dug it. I thought it was great. And I highly recommend people pick that up. This is the worst. Next up, we have Superman Ally, which was in red and blue. This was the 6th issue, and I don't remember any of the people working on it. But this is the story told from a young man who's thinking, and his thoughts are captured by a caption box. So anybody that's watched me talk about comics knows how much I love that. And yeah, it just right off the bat, I was like kind of not digging it. But it's this person, and they have some secret and how they walk through life, and they don't know if they should share it, but it's very important to them and all this other stuff. And then the idea is that Superman is out there doing Superman things, and this is about the time when Brian Michael Bendis let Superman go and have a news press conference in a Superman comic book that he wrote, where he let the world know that he was Clark Kent. And this is playing off that moment. And so in Ally, we find out that the narrator of the story is coming home, and he lets people know, because if Superman's like willing to tell everybody who he is, then that's the least he could do. And he lets everybody know that he's gay. And it's a pretty okay story. And my big comment on that was, finally, can we make this the last type of this story? Because it was done so very well. And then I noticed, and this is kind of like a little bit that upset me, actually, now that I think about it. Superman red and blue. The whole conceit of this goddamn thing is that the only colors that you're going to use in this comic book are like red and blue. Black and white, red and blue. And it's the same thing with with Batman, it's Batman black and white, and with Wonder Woman, it's Wonder Woman black and gold, or blue and gold, and Superman, it's red and blue, and my computer screwed up, or StreamYard screwed up on me, and the colors go full on this. The minute he's like, I'm gay, his family surrounds him, they're holding him, and like there's every color in the rainbow. It's a Superman red and blue. It doesn't work. That's my problem with it. And other than that, I was in a fairly okay story. Oh, damn it. I don't know what to do here. Let me try this again. I feel like if I X this out, I might shut the show down. I'm not very sure. Also, I'm not sure if that will make a difference anyway. Oh, damn. I don't think we're going to be able to take a trip to Mother's basement. If you guys are still with me on the other side, I can't wait to see you. Well, I know I'm. Hey, everybody. Can you hear me? There's another me here. Whoa, that's weird. All right. Let me turn this off. It looks like you can hear me. All right, excellent. All right. He said pull the Band-Aid, and I did. All right, let's see. I on my Yule on Filthy Burger, I did post a 4 days worth of. No, I didn't do Spider-Man. I was going to do this. It was very suspenseful. It was. I was scared there for a moment. All right. Let's see if I can do this. This was fun when I did it last time. We'll do it like this so you can see the background also. All right, here we go.
Here! I'm down here! Down here!
Mr. Sheldon?
All right, Mother's Basement. Hey, everybody. I'm going to just share a screen with you. Oh, yeah, let me, before I do that, before we go to Mother's Basement, let me just, let me show you what I'm talking about with that Superman story. Because, like, seriously, this is kind of BS. Like there were in Marvel in the early 2000s, they had a series like all month long. They were going to have Nuff Said comic books where nobody was supposed to say anything. And there were certain ways people would cheat, like maybe typing something out on a keyboard or something like that. But Grant Morrison's X-Men, I think they totally say something in like the last page or two. And it's like, come on. Anyway, this is Superman Red and Blue. And he's like, hey, everybody, I'm gay. And it's like, every color. It's like, give me a break. This isn't even a Superman story. It's not a Superman Red and Blue story anymore. So I thought that was kind of lame. Lame, I'll have you know. All right, let's bring this up. Dun-dun-dun. So Airboy number 51, my partner who sometimes shows up later on in the show. That's not happening today, obviously. He suggested we read this. And I did. And right off the bat, I'll have you know, Chuck Dixon writes this. And I'm a big Chucky Dix fan. What is on this cover that I'm not a fan of, though? Yeah, a lot of guns. But that's okay, I understand. And if I gotta read a gun comic, at least it's a Chucky Dix comic. He always does it well. And I don't know a thing about Airboy. We are introduced to the villain, who is crumbling up a picture of Davy Nelson, who is the Airboy. And I guess he is kind of like Tony Stark, where he makes guns. is basically it. You know, Stark Enterprises is big on like guns. He also has a lover named Valkyrie who's a Nazi. Am I getting this right? Because that's exactly what this guy's saying. And he's the villain, but he's also Russian. So, you know, ugh. And the thing is that we find out that, so Stan Walk is the artist, and Chuck Dixon is the writer. God, Ricardo Villagran. Oh, and Ollie Optics. Oh, that's the Steve Olive company. I mean, this is what company was this again? First Eclipse. This was in the early days. Best thing about the 80s was that not only was there really good Marvel and DC, but there was Eclipse and Pacific and Kamiko, and I just love those books. And guys like Chuck Dixon, this is where they started. You know, eventually they're going to do, you know, like Punisher and stuff like that. But this is where he got his start, and we find out that in Afghanistan, that's where Airboy's company is selling armaments to, and they talk about the all sorts of stuff that I've heard on news shows in the last 20 years, talking about the Mujahideen and all that other stuff. And this kid's leading one of the small tribes, you know, the people that are, you know, trying to, I love it, the Hindu Kush. They're the resistors, and you know, and then Airboy's like really up, you know, he doesn't want to be selling this, you know, making sure that his stuff is getting out to the wrong people. And it's you know, the whole situation where, you know, Russians are our enemies, and these people are fighting the Russians, and we're gonna, like, you know, give them some guns. And I wonder what's gonna happen. I wonder what's gonna happen. Hopefully they can just pull out after a couple of hours. Anyway, that dude and the and his Russian folk come on in, and they start bombing the hell out of this little cave that they're in. And these are Airboy's rocket launchers that are being shot at the helicopters. And here we go. This is the explosions, and they're running to the exit, and they're fighting people off, you know, blowing up the helicopters and all this other stuff. And and I don't know if this was really as poignant as I had hoped, or at least as it was being presented to me. This was a pretty easy comic book to digest, though, and it wasn't a very long story. It was like 15 pages. There was a moment at the end where there's a grenade, and our Airboy's buddy jumps on the grenade, and you find out that he has like a prosthetic hand. And I was kind of thinking about it like in wrestling terms. Like, why would you kill that dude, you know, so early on? Oh, here's that grenade part. Why would you kill him so early on? You know, he was kind of like the guy that was telling Airboy what's up and all this other stuff, kind of giving him the, you know, this is the way the real world works. You know, you might want to not have your stuff go to the wrong side, but you know, the people that you think are worthwhile right now aren't exactly, you know, always on the up and up, or you know, to them, they're the people that are fighting for the right side, et cetera, et cetera. And you can't really control that. If you're an arms dealer, you just sell guns. You can't have a real conscience when it comes to that, because you're just selling guns. Anyway, that guy jumps on one. It blows up just like that. And like I said, like in wrestling, I was kind of like, oh, I can't believe they did that. Airboy gets beaten up by this Russian dude in this mask. And at the very end, Airboy's buddy is still alive. So there you go. That's Airboy 41. There's also a backup story that's from the old days. I didn't read it. I was wondering if that was Valkyrie that was in it, and I wasn't sure, but I don't know. There was definitely a lot of swastikas, so maybe it was. But that's a very quick trip to Mother's basement. Chuck Dixon wrote all the Eclipse. Did he write every single Eclipse comic book? I know he did. The one I always dug when I was a kid was that Evangeline one, but that went to like a whole bunch of different companies. I remember, I think it was Eclipse initially, and then Comico did it, and then I can't remember exactly. Valk is a good girl. Okay, excellent. Best thing about the 80s was that it began. The worst was that it ended. Amen. Although I don't know, every decade's pretty fun if you ask me. I mean, what are you gonna do? You know, you can't help it. Things move on, but you know, something that was old is new to you now. Something you didn't like at one time, you kind of dig. I guess I can listen to a country song or two. You know, maybe I'll see what my old man or my old mom was talking about. You know, the things that I like now aren't what I like, you know, then, and maybe I'm more open to things that I wasn't into. Like, let's say Jack Kirby, and when I was growing up, he was a has-been basically. And not only that, I was a Spider-Man guy. I was more into Ditko, and I didn't even know it. You know, as a little kid, when you don't really pay attention to who the creators were. I like the Hulk, but Hulk was drawn by a bunch of people later on. But now I'm a big Kirby fan. You know, and I even like comic books that aren't superhero based. And I think I was pretty much that way always. Definitely in the 80s. But like I said, I read like my Mage and Grendel. Those were alternative comics that I really dug. I really liked Miracle Man. I was still in high school when that was coming out. And I didn't always get every single issue of X-Men after a certain point. During the Silvestri run, I didn't get every single thing. And yeah, even the stuff that I thought was like super hokey at one time, I have a better appreciation for it now. And, you know, it doesn't mean I'm going to read Richie Rich. I know someone out there likes Richie Rich, so I'm sorry. Oh, here he is. The worst Jay Lee book with the best Jay Lee art. That is 100% true. Look at this book, everybody. Transformers versus G.I. Joe. This is, if I'm not mistaken, during World War II. So it's G.I. Joe out of their normal time. And there's Nazis and all sorts of stuff like that. And it's super dark. And the Transformers are really like tanks and stuff like that. And G.I. Joe is like super hardcore. And yeah, that's the G.I. Joe book that I can never fully sell. That's like what do I want to say? That's a Seward's Folly. That's a Yule's Folly right there. Yeah. Good stuff. Look at that. Oh my gosh. There was another Jay Lee book. And I didn't like it. It was Hulk Thing that he did with Bruce Jones. And it's basically the Hulk and the Thing in a diner and then like getting upset with each other during conversation and punching each other. And you got to piss Banner off, you know, to become the Hulk. And the Thing was drawn really ugly, and you could see like his teeth and his lips and everything. And it was very well done, but kind of a boring book and not very good. Yeah. Didn't they say something about Cobra Commander? Like they took the hood away because of it being a hood. They just are gonna only Cobra Commander with like I guess the helmet and the face shield. But yeah, that's a good book. I totally agree. Totally agree. All right. Well, I'm so sorry I didn't have all the. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna share some of those pictures anyway. Let me do it. Let me show you what I'm talking about when I say that he's a loose penciler, like he's not over rendering it, but they look like their characters, except for him. He doesn't really look like Christopher Reeves, but dude looks like Perry. They even have this nice little comic scene where Brainiac has landed. There was an explosion, and dude hits him with like a mustard squirt. I thought that was very much like the movie. That's pretty good. Like this is the part where I thought they were doing some nice stuff. Also, I'm never a fan of things like Schuster Station. I'm just so tired of that kind of stuff. You got to tell me in some other way that you know what's going on in comic books. Tell me about the letterer. Anyway, this is very good. Like it a lot. Here we have that nice little change in the direction of the flying. It's very much like the movie. And I really like how he punches down or he hurts Brainiac, thinks he knocks him out. And then he's worried about the citizenry. It's a good comic book. It's a good Superman book. It's got all the Superman-isms that you're going to want in your comic book if you like the old classic stuff. There are people that don't like that movie. I know. There are people out there that don't like the original Donner Superman. If you saw, look, it's just like seeing if you grew up on Goodfellas and all the other movies that came after The Godfather, kind of like me. I mean, I just didn't see The Godfather until later. And now I know every trope that came from it, but I still saw all those tropes first. And it kind of lessened the impact of what Godfather does for me. I know it's sin to say stuff like that. But I feel like Superman is often like that for people. And there's a few parts that I didn't like in the movie when I revisit it. It was a little too, Lois Lane and Superman. What do you have something to say? I never hear you with your audio on.
Oh shit! Did I leave it on?
Yeah, it's on.
Right.
Do you want to talk about Airboy since I've got you on?
Yeah, I think everyone should have read that and learned the lessons from Airboy.
What about getting into a fight in Afghanistan?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, the fact of the matter is, and I'm not a big, guy when it comes to like, war stuff, but we funded some guy so that they could fight the Russians back then. It was very much like the story that I was talking about here. We gave money and weapons so that they could blow Russian helicopters out of the sky.
Yeah, I think that was Rambo 3. Or 2?
It was Rambo 3.
Right.
You can't wage war when people can dig in holes. You can't blow them up enough. There's nothing you can do. These guys have an out, so they can get out in the back way. They gotta. You can't cave in enough caves, is what I'm saying. And then we went and did the same thing. Oh man, when you got a boner for Afghanistan,
there's a panel right in there that says like the British were here, the Persians were here, everybody was here, and we're still here because we're
we're only a few more days to go.
Right.
So, and that's not going poorly at all, from what I understand.
Right. Right.
What do you think about that? I mean, well, it's funny when like the people that you were cheering. All right, it's like, let's see if I can do this one. I am a CM Punk fan. He gets hurt and leaves the company because he was mistreated. Now he goes to another company I'm not that big on, and I don't like CM Punk as much. Now that doesn't work the way, and it's also not totally true. It's just that, your enemies or your friends are your enemies, and then your enemies are your friends. And it doesn't matter if you sell weapons to people. You just sell them. It doesn't matter. Just sell them. My hands are clean. I'm going to sell. Airboy, you got to sell your weapons. Get out of there. It's funny because last week that was the problem that Tony Stark was having with Doctor Doom. His shit was getting sold over to Latveria so that Doctor Doom could, which he didn't know, it was so that he could go back in time and stuff like that. Just so he could save his mom. Tony, you didn't even know what you were doing. So sad.
Oof.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning into this very, very fun episode of Fantastic Comics Presents. Tune in next Tuesday. I won't be open in the store, but we'll definitely have a show next Tuesday. And maybe we'll have a guest. Maybe the guy next to me will say something more. See ya.